Hello, TCI family, Jonathan's Refuge, all of our faithful followers and friends and supporters from around the world, coming to you live with a special guest tonight. I know you're all wondering, who is this beautiful being sitting here? But listen, this isn't about me right now, okay? This is about her. Welcome to TCI's First Lady, Miss Cynthia Brown.
Or Cece.
Or Bishop Cece. She is the first female bishop in this church. All right. Well, you guys know the drill. We get right to it and get our message going. We try to do them in 15 minutes, but as you know, there's a guy that talks a lot. So I'm going to try my best to try to get this down. Sorry about the lighting today. I know it's a little dark right here. The lighting equipment that failed. So we're dealing with the shadows. But it is in the shadows that you will find the true you.
And it is a rainy day.
It is a rainy day. So let's talk about love, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good and all the bad things that may be. Let's talk about love. I know that's not the real word and it was something else, but it works, okay? For those that lived through the 80s and 90s, y'all know that song. And Brian, if you're watching, you're like, dude, I never listen to that stuff because I'm a rocker. It's okay. I'll forgive you. But love, we're finishing up a series that I've been on the fruits of the Spirit. What are the fruits of the Spirit? Well, every faith has them. I grew up as a Christian and as an inclusionist. All faiths are the same. We are all just speaking how we believe God is telling us to speak. So the Muslims have their book that they were inspired to write by God, but still penned by man. And Christians thought God inspired them to write the book, the Bible. And they've all been inspired to write these. And they are inspired by God, but written by man. But one of the interesting things is in all the different spiritual books, there's like a thread of certain things that are universal. And the fruits of the Spirit is one of those things. And so it's kind of interesting. I brought my wife, my partner in crime and adventures around the globe. Our new mom and dad here this Saturday. We're not going to tell you anything other than she's a girl. That's it. And you'll meet her next week. We'll leave it alone. Little teaser. Hold it. And we're going to be talking about love today. Now, I'm not going to get deep. I'm not going to go too deep. And I'm not even going to get into scripture because I want to discuss what love means to me. And I want you to learn what it means to you. But one of the things I want to talk about is what does the word mean itself? So what you do is when you look at a book, like as an example, I grew up reading the Bible. So I look at the word in the Bible, in the New Testament, that was written in a language called Hebrew. The majority of it was written in Hebrew and Greek in the New Testament. So you go to the original Greek word and then you see what it really meant. Because as an example, in the modern day Bible, we've all heard me preach on this, right? The word sin means what?
Miss the mark.
Yeah, it just means you missed the mark. So the English word is sin, but when you read the original Greek word, then you find out, wait a second, that sure makes it sound worse than it is. It means I messed up. I didn't do the greatest job and I didn't hit my mark. Okay. Well, the word love has many meanings. And the Greek word, we're going to talk about the three most common ones. The first one is agape love. My buddy Brian, I love him. I love that guy. He's one of my best friends. He's a brother to me. I'd do anything for him, and he's always done anything I've ever asked. We always are there for each other, our families, our dogs, our cats, our world, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Agape Brian. Okay. But then you also hear of another root word of love from the Greek word, and it comes back as eros. So when you're reading a story in the Bible, was it eros love? Was it agape love? Big difference. So the word love in eros would be, honey, tonight I would like to make eros with you. It's the same thing as saying I'd like to make love to my wife. It's the sexual word for love. So when you're being intimate with someone in a physical sexual aspect, the love word in English is love. We still say it's the same word, love. I'd like to make love to you. But that word love as the original word is eros. So there's different meanings. There's another one, the most common, and that is philia. Philia is another term, but what it means is affectionate regard, like friendships between equals. It's not like how I love my best friend or something. It's more like I love America. I love all Americans, or I love the earth. I love all people. It's a general love, and more of a
hiking.
Yes, exactly. And so there's different stages. And when I started to get into that, and what love means, I went in a whole nother direction, and I had a great sermon, as usual. They're amazing. And then God's like, hold on, let's do something else. What does love mean to me? Well, if you know my love language, follow my money. Follow the money. Where do I spend the money? Because wherever that is part of my love language. Parks right here on her. There's always a package showing up at the house.
True.
There's always a gift coming in the mail.
A card. Something.
There's always a trip planned, canceled, made up. There's always some crazy surprise where she's like, what are we doing? Like, don't we do enough? Yes, but now we're going to go up and we're going to do this paragliding naked or something. It's something to help us as a couple. So a lot of ways that I can show my affection is in a monetary way. Now, that's one way. My wife's different. She wants me to do this. Just simple, right? Didn't cost me anything. Well, it cost a lot, actually. No. But touch, feel, a kiss, something to physically let her know. Simple things. What is love? What is love to you?
Love is when somebody's needing something and I can be there for them. Or when they're hurting, when I get that phone call and it's like, Cece, I just needed to talk to somebody. That's love to me.
So being there. This whole day I've been thinking about what was I going to talk about, which story of my childhood, right? Which one can I explain? Because I have so many great stories of trauma, but I have great stories of love. We all can find them. They're there. It might have been the cop that rescued you from the abusive family. There's a love story somewhere in you of an affectionate, kind act. And sometimes there are a few that I've met in my years of counseling that never experienced even one moment. So there are those people out there. But I guess I'm going to go back to when I was a boy and we were taking my dad and Lonnie Frisbee. If you haven't watched a movie called, is it Jesus Freaks or Jesus, something like that? It's on Netflix. So if you're on Netflix, I'm giving a plug out. Go to look at Netflix and look up a movie. I believe it's called The Jesus Freaks or The Jesus Movement or something like that. Yeah. But just Google it under there and you'll see it. And it was just recently released on Netflix. And it's a killer movie. And it's about a guy named Lonnie Frisbee. And my dad and Lonnie were friends and built a lot of things together in the churches in Southern California together as partners. And I grew up with this man. I used to bounce on his knee and stuff and hang out at all the pastor events and things. And they were taking us to go baptizing and check out the movie. They'll take you right to the place where it happened. And my dad had my hand and I literally was a baby. I was only like a couple years old. I want to say 2.5, maybe 3, somewhere around there. And I ended up, they didn't realize that I just had drowned. So they're walking out into the waves, forgetting that, they're very busy. There's 2,000 people there. My dad, no excuse, right? But he forgot that here I am. And all of a sudden, I actually ended up drinking water and then I drowned. And so I was unconscious. And they ended up taking me to the shore and reviving me and stuff, brought me back. In that short time, then I have not died until the last few years, where I've died twice now in the operating room. All 3 times I've experienced what is referred to as the afterlife and meeting the deity that we come to call God, if you will. That is not like you and me, by the way, in any shape or form are taught, or it's a whole nother thing. And there's a whole nother message on it. And I don't want to get distracted, but I want you to understand something. I've been to the other side. Okay. 3 times now, but this is the first one I want to talk about. When I was there, I don't know why I asked the question, but it was the only thing that popped up in my head, which is I'm meeting this beautiful being that is the great architect of the universe, has all the answers to everything. I mean, like I could have asked about, hey, how do I beat the Rubik's Cube? It's going to come out in like 4 years. You know what I mean? Who's going to win the pennant next year? So I could bet on it. I know I was only 2.5, but still, these things help. But it was this. I asked, what am I supposed to do with my life? And that's a question that my dad asked me since I can, as far back as one of the first questions I ever remember hearing. So that's probably why I repeated it, is we repeat a lot of what we hear. And I'll never forget the response. It was simple. Love all. That's it. No other BS from man. No other laws attached to it. No others. Love if they do this. Love if they do that. Love if they're of this ethnicity. Love if they're of this sexual orientation. Love if they're of this party, of this denomination, if they believe in this God, because my Jesus is more powerful than your Allah, and my Buddha is more powerful than your Krishna. No, none of that stuff. It was simple. Love all. Love all. And that's been my task my whole life. And I got off track a lot when I was younger. I started off helping and then got lost. And so I spent a lifetime, decades now, making up and loving people. I love this woman. I chased her. I chased her for multiple years. I feel like the guy in the Bible who worked 7 years and then gets married that night and they don't see the bride because you're not allowed to see him until you're married, and then finds out it's the wrong sister. And he was irate. And he's like, what the heck, to his dad, father-in-law? He's like, well, if you want her, you're going to have to work another 7 years. No, I shouldn't say that. She's worth 7 more. She is. But I showed that love. That was different. That's not throwing money at it. I mean, it does take money to drive somewhere, but it's hours of your time. There's something you're very passionate about. I'm passionate about my wife.
Love is an action. Love is an action, and he is action.
And not all of our actions are the same. My wife's actions are different than mine. Your parents were different than yours. We're all different. But here's something I want you to know. At TCI, we love you. You're talking to 2 people who just love you. I'm rough around the edges. I talk a little rough. I say things a little blunt. I'm like a bull in a china cabinet. I know it's hard to believe. I know you're like, what? No way. Rev, come on. The bishop's awesome, man. He is calm and compassionate and loving, especially in traffic. I'm very loving in traffic, but that's a different root word, and we'll talk about that later. So what I want you to realize is there is a place that loves you as you are. See, at TCI, we love all people. It's actually, if you go to our webpage, www.inclusion.church, CHURCH. That's it. There's no .com after it. It's .church. So it's inclusion.church. Go look it up. Look up what the College of Bishops and all of us have put on our actual website. What is our actual bylaws state? What is the actual statement? And that is to love all. That's it. We're just here. That's how simple the doctrine is at our church. Love all. I'm not here to convert you. I'm not here to try to stop you from being straight. If you're straight, God bless it. Keep staying straight. And if you're gay, God bless it. Keep being gay. I'm not here to convert you to any denomination. If you're a Muslim, I have a Muslim pastor, imam in our organization. We have an entire group of Muslim followers that are part of TCI. Okay. We have Hindus. We have Christians. Just because I speak from the Bible a lot, that's because I was raised from the Bible. So that's what I have a lot of passion for. But every sermon, I'm talking from the Vedas, from the different books, because we love all people and we're trying to show that love. I can't fix everyone's problems. We can't throw money at everything. We can't just go out and say, here's money to fix your problem. Most of the time, their problems are going to be drugs and they're going to use it to go do stuff. But sometimes it's a little boy who just needs someone to say, I love you as you are. Sometimes that little boy might be 48 years old. Uh-oh, I'm getting into my own business. You see, sometimes people never got told when they were a boy or a girl that they were loved. And sometimes as an adult, they need someone that says, I love you, just as you are, especially when you make mistakes. I don't know about you, but I've made a lot of mistakes. And man, when I make a mistake, it sure is nice to know that someone loves me still, even though I made a mistake. And I guess that's the part I wanted to point out here. I think sometimes I have to tell all the good things I do because the record is so thick and all the bad. But there's an amazing deity that loves Jonathan Brown very much. And I feel that love from God every day, every moment of the day. There's not a moment that I don't feel loved. I know that there is this being out there, this creator, this consciousness. It's not some Christian, it's not, some Muslim. There's this beautiful being, and it's this gorgeous deity of light and love. Our sons are two bishops in this organization. Their actual title is Bishop of Light and Bishop of Love, which is crazy because it symbolizes exactly what I've always said about the deity. And no matter how much you've fallen from grace, no matter how many men or women you have slept with to make dollars to pay for your hotel, to just survive another week, to get your fix, you're special to God. And to that woman and husband at home, living in the $700,000 house, making the $100,000 a year job, and everything looks amazing, and you're at all the right parties. But at home, honey, you're popping pills, and you're doing drugs with no one looking, and you're drinking way too much. And to you, buddy, who's out there banging whoever and whatever, or going out and fighting with people after their work, and all kinds of things that you can go down just like your spouse, or maybe it's the same. You're drinking and partying too much to bury pain and hurt. You're loved. You see, folks, this anti-love comes after everybody. Anti-love comes after the rich and the poor, the hurt and the ones who looked perfect. And I guess that we are the anti-love at our church, because we are all about love. And I just need you to understand that as a young boy, I needed love and I didn't get it. And so it led me down a path that turned me into a monster. That monster hurt people. And it took my adopted mom saying, I want that little 6-year-old, the one that was before 7, before all the trauma, that little boy, the one that would go in the park. And my mom used to drive, she's told the story, my mom's told it to Cece. I'd go to the park, and we were a poor church. We were a very poor church, but we had 2,500 people. And so we're meeting in a park, and everyone gets one plate. So I got my one plate, and being the pastor's kid, kind of got favored. The ladies always gave me like an extra scoop and a half. And so they would give me my plate, and I would beeline it for the craziest guy in the park, because nobody talked to the crazy guy. You know the one I'm talking about, right? You see him in Seattle all the time. They're talking to themselves. That guy. That's who I went to as a little boy. I loved those guys. I loved those ladies. And I would walk up and say, they'd be like, and I'd be like, but I got food. Oh, thank you. Here, have some, please. My name's Jonathan Edward David Brown. My dad is Edward Joe Brown. My mom is Frances Ruth Brown. We're part of this church. My dad's the pastor. I can get you a meeting with him. He's kind of a big shot, and I'd tell the whole story. And my adopted mom took the time to make a little boy who now was a gangster, a very scary gangster, and turn that little boy back into that sweet boy again. And it took many years to fine tune it. And I'm not there yet. Mom's gone. She's now fine tuning it and working on it. And I am too. And so is God. But I think it's important that people know that they're loved. And I love you all. I love my men at the refuge. I love you all. I don't typically like to say names on television and stuff that can broadcast to people, but I just want you all to know I love you very much. Our 2 knuckleheads that come over from next door, you know who you are. Our guys in the refuge, God, I love you all so much. I have so much fun. Me and my wife look forward to getting together with you all. The men in our organization, we love all of you. The women, we love all of you. My wife and me have been through a lot of trauma in our life. And I'm going to have her actually kind of close it up. But as we do, understand something. Go out today. If you're here hearing this saying, and I don't feel that love, I know what you're talking about, Jonathan. I relate to you and Cynthia. I've had moments where I just wasn't loved. So here's how you remedy that. You go out there and you find someone who needs love, and you give it to them unconditionally. No questions asked. Don't ask them what church they go to. Don't ask them to come to your church. Don't try to proselytize the gospel or any faith that you're in. Don't try to recruit them to some group. Just simply do this. Find out what their need is. Meet it with love. Love. Just love on them. Be kind and love them, no matter what. Gay, straight, black, white, even those Democrats and those Republicans. We can love them too. including all the politicians. Okay, maybe not all, but almost all. Love. Reach out and love someone. And here's why. The second you start loving people, the boomerang effect happens. Bam! Someone's loving on you. So I love more because I want to be loved. I want people to love that little boy in me. I'm just a little boy who wants people to be happy and loved and feel like there's something amazing that can happen today. I want people to believe that anything is possible. I am that little boy that I know it. I know they say I couldn't become president because I'm an ex-con, but I bet you I could. And I bet you that I can because it's possible. I'm that kid. And so help me on this journey as a kid to kid. Find your inner child, that the one that is in there that needs to be released to love people so that that child in you can be loved. Honey, if you could close it up for us.
Like you said, love. Don't make people work for your love or just give it freely, unjudgmentally. Just because they look weird or act weird or say something weird or just weird, that doesn't mean that they don't need love. In the world that we live in, we see lots of homeless people. I was at an office the other day trying to help some man get into his Social Security and get some things done. And there was a homeless guy standing there, and he asked one simple question. What time do they open? And he talked kind of weird, like Jonathan just mentioned. But he just asked one question, and everybody backed away like 100 feet, like they were scared of him. And he just asked a question. And I just lovingly looked at him and said, 9 o'clock, sir. About 20 minutes. He was like, thank you. And you could tell he felt some love. He felt a little bit respected. He's like, and he walked away, I know, feeling a little bit better because at least one person looked at him like he was a human being with possibly some feelings and got an answer. So let's stop being judgmental. Let's just love people where they're at. Say a prayer. You can feel sad for them, of course, but let's stop judging and love them because love is patient and love is kind. That's what God says. It's not judging each other. It's being there for them. So let's try to do that a little bit more often.
You got our little Gidget popped up to say hi to the
and
church.
She is
love
bug.
And just so you know, she comes out almost every single week to the part of the center where we're recording here at the office in the corner over here. And she sits and listens to the messages. Just so you guys know, I don't know if you ever noticed, sometimes the stand will turn and bump a little bit. Like, what did they do? That was the cat. She's always listening to the messages. I got to call one thing about her message that was totally BS. I have to call it on the carpet. She said, just love people unconditionally. But that's not true because she tells me all the time, if you love me, you'll go get me some chocolate cake and apple fritters. If you love me.
No, that would be Ty that you're
that's
about.
Ty.
Yes.
Oh,
no.
Oh, are we calling Ty out on national? Oh, we're broadcasting.
And
Ty
ice
has
cream
an apple fritter
would probably
problem.
Be Alan and
Jolene.
then,
Jolene, stop selling my man his apple fritters,
Cameron
Jolene.
Might be blizzards. And then, yeah, you can just get me.
We can go right down
Ginger
the line.
chews.
Ginger chews.
That's
so
my
see,
favorite.
love isn't always free. God bless you guys. We love you. Live positive.